Hi, my name is Raiza Costa and I'm a food storyteller, which means I use food as my subject to create unique narratives. And today I'm going to show you how to make a Lumberjack Hazelnut Chocolate Tart. And you will understand why I call it Lumberjack Tart in a second, once I finish this. To make this tart, we're going to need graham cracker, hazelnuts, confectioner's sugar, melted butter, cocoa powder, vanilla extract, egg, salt, bittersweet chocolate, heavy cream, and honey. So to start, here in my pot, I'm gonna heat heavy cream, warm it up just until it comes to a boil. Meanwhile, I'm gonna make the crust. So the crust for this pie is like the super lazy graham cracker crust that I like to add a little something else to make it taste like, oh wow, this was so like elaborate, but it wasn't. It was fairly simple. So here I have my graham cracker, ground graham cracker, and I'm gonna add from my own personal squirrel, the hazelnuts. So these are pretty much ground hazelnuts. And honestly, this is what adds so much flavor when it goes in the oven, because any nut you use, the heat makes it so fragrant and makes it so delicious because of all the oils, and that's what makes a difference in this tart. So here I have my hazelnut and graham cracker, and I'm gonna add my cocoa powder, because this is a chocolate tart. So I wanna make sure everything is very chocolatey. I'm also going to add the confectioner's sugar. It's just a tiny bit because we don't want this tart overly sweet. The idea is that it's super rich and creamy from the chocolate. And I'm gonna add my melted butter right here. And just like any cracker crust, you want to mix it and you want to have enough moisture to hold it together. I'm gonna show you how you look for that. And once it kind of forms a ball in your hand, that's when you know it has enough butter to hold its shape in the oven. I love the smell of hazelnuts and chocolate. Hazelnuts and cocoa powders and butter. It's the best. All right, let's get our hands dirty. I prefer not to grind my graham cracker and hazelnuts too much, so we get that like rustic texture. And that's the texture that I like to feel in my mouth when I bite in, but it's up to you. You can also make something super fine. And I'm also going for the more rustic look, because after all, we're doing a lumberjack tart. All right, so how do we know this is ready? How do we know we have enough butter here? You hold it like this, press it, and it holds its shape. Do you see this ugly piece of ingredients here? That's exactly what we're looking for. So now this is ready to go. So now this is ready to go in my tart pan, removable bottom, easier to unmold, but whatever pan you have is fine. I'm gonna add this here, and I'm gonna press it down, making sure that I fill all the sides of the pan with this beautiful crust. You want to come up on all of the sides. See? All right, press it down. Beautiful. Okay, we go around. I like the rustic look, honestly. It gives a little crunch, and I'm quite addicted to crunch. It's like I want crunch on everything. It's like ice cream, nice, but it's great when you add a little crunch. A tart, nice, but when you have the crunch, it's when you have that experience in your mouth. All right. Once the crust is compact like this, you notice, because there are no crumbs like flying around, you can bake it for 10 minutes at 350 Fahrenheit. Your oven should be preheated, always, when you're baking. and crust is baked. And if you did this right, it should unmold just like this. Easy. See? Perfect. But let's leave it here for now. My cream just came to a boil. I'm gonna turn it off and add it to my chopped chocolate, dark chocolate. Why? The hot cream over the dark chocolate is going to be enough heat to melt it. And even if you hate dark chocolate, you should use dark chocolate in this recipe, because once we mix it with other ingredients, it kind of loses its chocolatiness if you use just like milk chocolate, for example. So dark chocolate all the way. And because chocolate melts so easily, just the heat from the cream itself is enough. Wow. And here, believe it or not, the filling is almost ready. Look at this chocolatey, oof. You will want to lick the bowl. This is going to the crust that was pre-baked just for a little bit. And this is the main filling. Beautiful. Look at this. This texture is gonna get like creamy and amazing in the oven. This recipe is one of my favorites. I've probably done it like 100 times, because when people eat it, they're like, can you do that again and again and again? So I usually do for Thanksgiving. I know. No pumpkins at my house. It's not my thing. So chocolate all the way. And here, this is ready to be baked again at 350 for approximately 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It depends on your oven, but you're gonna feel like it's set, like you're gonna shake it and it's not gonna shake like this, then it means it's done. And the tart is ready. Look at this. It's beautiful. You're gonna know that it's baked because the color will change. It's gonna get darker. You're gonna feel like it's set, and that's exactly what we want. Now, I could call done. I could say, this is ready. It's ready to eat. It's delicious. Unmold and eat. But I'm not done yet, because there is a glaze that I like to add to the top. It's like a shiny glaze that gives a nice touch, a nice finish to it. And I think it gives a more sophisticated look to this tart, that it's quite rustic. And I'm gonna do it because it's quick. So here I'm gonna add heavy cream, just a tiny bit. This is on low heat, okay? We don't want to overcook. Chocolate, dark chocolate again, and always. So I'm gonna melt this quickly. It's basically the same ingredients that we used for the filling, but towards the end, I'm gonna add a little honey for shininess and a little bit of water, and that's it. Then we're ready to eat this baby. I think the thing that inspired me the most to create back then when I started was just like this feeling of teaching someone to do something in a fun way, because everybody's so like stiff, and I don't want people to feel like that. You know, I want people to feel like making mistakes is always part of the game. But these days, I think what inspires me the most is like doing things in a way that will make people think. That's why storytelling is so important to me, because I think I can combine creativity with something else, you know. And it's like I'm showing a recipe, but it's always themed up with something else. It's always themed up with like an idea. And I think it's like making people think beyond what's obvious. That's what keeps me going. So, chocolate and heavy cream melted, beautiful, so velvety. Wow. This is off. And now here I'm going to add a little bit of water because I want to thin it out. This is just a glaze. It's not supposed to be super thick. And now a little bit of the honey for shininess here. If your honey crystallizes, don't freak out. It means that it's real honey made from honeybees and not some industrialized cheap honey. This is good stuff. Quite crystallized under here, but that's how it goes. Okay, glaze is ready, beautiful. And I'm gonna pour over my tart. Watch this. Beautiful. This is gorgeous. Look at this reflection. Pure art. Here, I'm going to tilt it because I don't want like spoons in here. I don't want to kill this perfectness. Just tilting. So the glaze coats the whole surface. See? Beautiful. A little crust got in there. It's fine. A little chocolate here. Okay. So the glaze has beautifully coated the top. And now it's time for the truth. Can we unmold this or can we not? Hopefully we can. Here. Always nerve-wracking. Bling! Nice. Beautiful. Look at this. All right. You guys should always do this with a cup underneath a glass or something, but I like living on the edge, so I'm always like doing things in a way that I'm not supposed to. This is gorgeous. But why did I call it a lumberjack tart? Because it's autumn, and I like to kind of like give that autumn look to my tart. So I have a little deer. And with my Brazilian accent, a deer and a deer, you my dear and you dear, they sound the same. I don't know how to make them sound different. So I have a deer here on my tart. And then I might add the baby one also. Why not? Yeah, maybe it's gonna be too much. I like to add a little tree, a couple of trees, just to put this in a vibe of what's happening. Maybe a couple of mushrooms, why not? Here and there, right? And now, the X, the most important accessory for this tart. Bah! This is my lumberjack tart. It's just missing some beard guy in a flannel here. So that would be perfect. And the only thing left to do here is to eat. When I have an idea, Pinterest is such a vital part of my creative process because I not only organize my ideas there on my boards, but somehow I get inspiration. But listen, it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna make this and I'm gonna look who else is doing this. It's like just seeing something that's visually pleasant to me is inspiration. So I tend not to look out for something that's similar to what I plan on doing because I'm afraid I'm gonna find something that's so awesome and I'm gonna like think that I shouldn't do that. But just by visually seeing so many great artists and so many great creators making things happen, it gives me that boost to like go and do it. You know, it's like, don't procrastinate, just do it. I've been seeing a rise of baking trends with natural ingredients, and that makes me so happy. And I would like to claim a little bit of ownership to that because I am the person who makes red velvet with beets. And I've been doing that for quite a long time. And I'm like, I want that. You know, I want my cake to have real edible flowers. I want my muffin to be like decorated with actual fruits and with actual ingredients and stuff that, you know, it just comes from Mother Nature and natural colors. And I've been seeing this trend more and more, and it makes me super happy. So cakes with like petals, very beautiful. When I was doing my book, I remember seeing this photo shoot of people covered in honey, and that gave like that beautiful glaze to the artist. Like it was just like a those images were so pleasant, and that gave me the idea of making a honey cake where the bee, it's actually a fake bee covered in honey, just like those artists. So things like that, you know, you get an inspiration, but you don't necessarily mimic where it comes from, or you do, but in a whimsical way, and that's magic to me.